and his opponent, with a webcam as shaky as Twitch chat's belief in him, it is ShaDoWn in the blue. And right out of the gate, we're seeing Big Gabe going for a big old proxy.
Okay,
it's gonna be
okay. I'm looking at the camera. He's still there. I like this. I don't know about you. When I think about HeRoMaRinE, I mean, the reason I make the Frank Gore comparison is because it's nothing about, not about anything fancy. It's just kind of, I do my thing. I do it well enough to always hit a certain standard. But he's doing something that is a little bit uncharacteristic from what we typically expect out of him. I like Gabe's greedy macro-based builds, but honestly, I don't think I've cast a game where HeRoMaRinE has proxied. I can't remember. I actually could not tell you the last time that I got to commentate HeRoMaRinE proxying somebody. So whether or not it's like a full commitment to something, obviously will remain to be seen. But I already like it.
Yeah, that is the one weakness I think that Big Gabe had for probably the last, what would you say, like all of his career? Up until maybe the last 6 months, is he was too predictable. He was that macro stable style all the time, every game, and never really mixing it up. But now, in the last little bit, we've seen him start to mix things up more and more. So for example, we're seeing him going for, he went for a proxy 2 racks in TVZ versus a laser, I think 2 seasons ago. And that was like the first time I'd ever seen him proxy 2 racks in that matchup. And now I think you're right. I think this is the first time I've ever seen him proxy Reaper in this matchup, and it's cool. I love it.
Yeah, these builds can, I mean, with the way that he's chosen to go with just the Reaper, it's not like he's committed to, like, I'm going to try and kill you immediately. It's about getting damage that really shouldn't be possible, because you're going to get in way before the Stalker is out. The Zealot's kind of trying to block and keep some positioning. But with the way that this map is set up too, there's not a lot to work around, since he did block the Reaper cliff in the main base. So the Reapers are out there. They put on some pressure. You try to keep the Protoss on their toes, but he's still going to, back home, just get that command center, build the reactor off the factory, could make some mines defensively and get a starport and still do a mine drop. Or perhaps he's just going to lift the factory, build a tech lab, put the Merrics on there, and get into, some Marine-based play. He's got a couple of options. We talk about flexibility and Terran openers against Protoss. There's a lot you can do. So we'll just have to wait and see. ShaDoWn, I'm not sure that it really throws the Protoss off as much as it used to, because back in the day, the answer to this was you go Cybercore before Nexus. But ever since, Parting had his reign of terror in GSL, Cybercore before Nexus is not that unusual. And most Protoss players know how to play a game out from that start.
Oh yeah, they're absolutely comfortable doing it. It's not that bad, but in the sense of an overall best of 3, best of 5, in terms of trying to predict HeRoMaRinE, it makes him less predictable. And so that alone, even if it doesn't get amazing damage, I'd say it's already worth it in the meta sense. And he did pick off an initial probe, which pretty nearly pays for it. He's kept the Marine or the Reapers alive. He's just looking around. We are going to be seeing the Widow Mine drop coming out here, and it's going to be 4 Widow Mines, which is, that's a lot of potential there. So I'm excited about this.
My favorite part when we see these like reactor mine openings, and you're like, okay, he's going to have 4 Widow Mines and the medevac. It's like, this build can be devastating for either player. So if he goes in, he's able to get the probes, can be game-ending amounts of damage. If he goes in and gets nothing, or the medevac somehow gets sniped, he perfectly manages to dodge it. Suddenly HeRoMaRinE's like, okay, I'm going to have to be a little bit more defensive, a little more conservative, because I haven't done anything to the Protoss economy for everything that I've invested early in this game. And he got 2 probes at the start, and oh my god, right as he goes to build that pylon, ShaDoWn sees the medevac. The Stalkers are there, steadfast. Don't think he's got that window of opportunity that he was maybe hoping for, but he could just leave it there and wait for whenever he does, like, maybe a Marine tank push with the Raven, and then the mines can go in from the back when he doesn't have, his attention focused on them.
Yeah, I think that would definitely be the best usage of this. And he is going for the 3 racks follow-up, getting that Raven, getting a tank. And I mean, tank pushes on that 3rd base are going to be very difficult to deal with. You set up tanks outside those rocks around the 3rd of the Protoss player, and that is just horrifyingly difficult to deal with once they get set up. You got a Raymond throwing out interference matrices can be very annoying. Oh, Observer. Very quick reaction time from ShaDoWn. Pulls it back. Good job. It's going to be Colossus, though. Very standard. Nothing unexpected. Do you think HeRoMaRiNE's going to be able to get what he needs to done with this follow-up push?
It really boils down to like which position he tries to go for, right? Because charged zealots are going to be great against the tanks. You can drag the tank shots against the Marines. It's the same kind of logic with like Widow Mines. You drag those shots forward, so the splash damage becomes a little bit less useful. They don't do their bonus against the zealots. I think on Oxide, it's like one of the best Terran maps, especially because of the way you can do these big 2-base pushes. So I do think he will most likely try to make that attack, but it won't necessarily be about the push because the Reapers are going to come in. I don't think he's going to see anything that blows his mind. Robo Bay's getting range. That's not a huge shocker, but it's going to be about that opening the door for that follow-up mine drop again later down the line. Actually, he just flies straight in. He gets 2 mines in the natural, and the Reapers actually do get a couple of probes that look like just about in the main base. So 4 workers killed off all that. Okay, I'm going to change my opinion now that he decided to do it as I was answering your question, but I feel a little bit more concerned about this attack if he's able to get some charge lots in to support this, since he already has a Colossus out, and he doesn't have that secondary attack to try and do while he makes this push.
Oh my God! Oh
what?
No!
Okay, well, I didn't expect him to walk his Colossus straight into the army by itself either. So here we go.
And he didn't even have to stim to take that out. That's so much worse.
Unstimmed
nice
Marines,
right
unstimmed Marines with no combat shield. Steadfast. That's a great to point that out too. Didn't even have to stim for it. Brutal.
Can you imagine if he jumped on that army right there and the Colossus was behind the Stalkers? That would have actually been so good for ShaDoWn. But now he's in a bit of trouble, to say the least.
Yeah, I'm like trying to think about how that happens, and maybe it was like an F2 and he just thought the Stalkers by themselves were just going to go poke, but the Colossus was somehow still in the control group, or maybe I don't know. Usually it's like a rally from an Observer or something, but the Observer wasn't rallied out there when he made the first one, so I don't know how exactly that goes down. But weirdly enough, he chases those Stalkers for a decent bit of time, so he's able to get a couple Zealot Warp ins, and the tanks are on siege. He's going to jump on top of them, does have that follow-up Colossus. Range upgrade is ready for it, so shaves a decent bit off of this. And I mean, honestly, the position he's fighting for is just kind of this open space so far. Interference Matrix is going to hit one of the Colossi, though. And ShaDoWn is going to pull back a little bit. Zealots do manage to get their way around the top. Once the tanks are gone, he is going to be just fine, though, as HeRoMaRiNE is forced to retreat. But he didn't really get anything done to that third base. He didn't really do too much to the economy. So I think if you're ShaDoWn, you're pretty happy about this and maybe thinking about going for a counterattack.
Yeah, even picks off a medevac on the chase right there. Nice job from ShaDoWn. He really prioritized Zealots right there, and that was able to give him enough oomph to chase down the heavily tank army of HeRoMaRiNE. And I gotta say, good job from ShaDoWn. HeRoMaRiNE got caught unsieged a couple of times, though, which is very uncharacteristic for him. And I like that ShaDoWn, the approach he's taking, he's being very aggressive on the map. And now he warps into Templar Archives. I think he's just gonna get Archons and go.
It's a very difficult position to be put in because he breaks these rocks, and if he goes for the other rocks, he can even widen this angle of attack that he has even further. But I love what you bring up about the unsieged tanks, because you don't even really necessarily want to siege them if you're just trying to kite and fight against the Zealots. But if you don't siege them, then the Colossi, you don't have a great answer for those without running your army into them. And of course, the Zealots are in your way. So it's a very delicate situation to be in, because ShaDoWn, with the right positioning, could take a catastrophic fight. He's got 26 charge lots, and the majority of the units for HeRoMaRiNE are actually Marauders. He has more Marauders than he has Marines. But we know the tanks aren't going to be the saving grace on this. So if he can get a good fight, anything could happen. There are Vikings out here to try and keep the Colossi away. Archons trying to get the Zealots in front of them. I feel like he's been going a little bit back and forth on this. The Colossi being a bit move commanded. The Stalkers are not stopping to shoot the Vikings, so he is going to kill the Colossus without too much trouble.
Yeah, that was a really, really well orchestrated fight right there from HeRoMaRiNE. He is going to re-engage, takes down the Colossus right there. So HeRoMaRiNE consistently was moving away his main force from those Colossus, so they were always out of range. Now, ShaDoWn, what he should have been doing, just keeping everything very tightly balled up, but he let his charge lots get ahead of him, and he ended up losing almost all of them. Great move from HeRoMaRinE, but a big mistake from ShaDoWn to let that happen. That shouldn't have happened there.
Yeah, I mean, the way he took that fight, it seemed like he was trying to over micro a little bit because letting all the Vikings be there. Now that he's killed the Colossi, he can land them. We know they're going to be strong against the Stalkers. The Disruptor can be a tool to bring that back, except there's still siege tanks. So the army composition has actually changed into something that HeRoMaRiNE's army is even better against. The Archons with the shield battery can soak a lot, but they don't necessarily have that range, so they will have to push very far out to try and make this attack. Kills them frontmost tank. Disruptor fires another volley, and he is just trying to buy as much time as he can. He did get a 4th base during this. Worth pointing out, ShaDoWn is, if he holds here, he's still building his economy. He's still powering up. He hasn't necessarily lost too much, but Liberator's coming into play. He doesn't have almost any Stalkers to actually deal with those, even if he could get through this Bio army. I think we're starting to see the beginning of the end as HeRoMaRiNE plows his way into the Protoss third.
Yeah, he depowers that robotic facility. He's got the Liberator showing up. He guts the probe line, and GG is going to get called right as those Zealots impotently march towards HeRoMaRiNE's third.
Yeah, very... It was a very awkward engagement that he took at HeRoMaRiNE's third base, because I felt like as soon as he broke the rocks, he was definitely in a position to try and attack. But then he kind of waited, and he's like, you know what? Instead, I'm gonna go in a little bit more from this other angle. But HeRoMaRiNE had like 2 waves of his barracks production finish up while that was happening, and there wasn't a warp prism up front that was reinforcing that attack. He was just like, yeah, I've got 3 Archons, 20 Zealots, and 3 Colossi. But I'm watching the replay come through the stream delay, and the Colossi almost don't shoot at all because he kites through his whole base. But the Stalkers and Archons were actually all trying to just chase down the Bio. The Vikings were able to fire unhindered the whole time. And that's, you just can't make mistakes like that against HeRoMaRiNE because he'll capitalize on them 100% of the time.
Yeah, and I think that's a testament to the difference between these two players is that HeRoMaRiNE back up against the ropes. Many Terrans would die in that situation, 100%. And HeRoMaRiNE calmly knows what his out is. And he's like, okay, well, I need to get the hell away from those Colossi and just fight all the Zealots with just Bio. And if you let me do it, great, I win. If you don't, it was kind of a lost game anyways. And he turns a lost game into a won game. That's the power of Big Gabe.
Amen. Amen, I say, as we worship at the church of Gabe, the Big Gabe, Guten Gaben, however many other references you may have, and however many other synonyms you may know for the word large to describe our Red Terran player here in the bottom right of Romanticide. Currently leads 1-0. He's HeRoMaRiNE.
And his opponent spawning up in the top left. He is the Frenchman. Looked good in the initial parts of that game, but ultimately faltering. It's ShaDoWn. Honestly, like, big credit to ShaDoWn though. Like, he put himself into a winning position. Like, that wasn't him. Now, yeah, the Colossus going down at the early stage was very unfortunate. And definitely a big mistake. But after that, he made some really nice moves, just jumping on HeRoMaRiNE's army consistently.
Yeah, I didn't really hate his position, even with the random Colossus that he lost, because that attack that was, I mean, the attack that you would need the Colossus to defend, right? That attack ended up just chasing those other Stalkers to the corner, and he recalled those. So he actually found a way to make the best of what was definitely an awkward situation. And I think, fair to say, a bit of an unusual game that might be harder to plan for, since HeRoMaRiNE he's one of those guys that you get put up against and you think to yourself, yeah, this guy's not going to cheese me. HeRoMaRiNE's not a cheeser, right? If you're playing against Showtime, you're not expecting to get proxy gated. I don't think a Terran who goes against Showtime expects to get, Void Ray, Shield Battery rushed. You have some players just have that reputation where sometimes people try to take advantage of it. They'll be really greedy. This probe, oh my goodness, boxing, punch.
Let's go.
Revenge for all the harassed SCVs out there in the Kaprulu sector. That guy gets a beautiful haymaker to that robot's face.
Have you been harassed by a probe? Do you have damage to your mobile construction vehicle, but you don't have the way to get any recompense?
Is this we going JG Wentworth on this one? I like it.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot the name, so thank you for bailing me out there.
Nate and Steadfast 877 probes now. There you go. I have a mineral settlement, but I need my expansion now. See, now you're getting into proper. That's how you get to the proper high level StarCraft casting bans. All right, as far away from the subject of the game while still somehow keeping it StarCraft related. That's the secret. That's the secret to a long and happy life.
Yeah, that's how I'll get into the Cabal. That's how I'll join the old boys club. You know.
Yes.
We will
force you to. We just want you to know, though, our secret Cabal has already denounced Katz for his slander of Robin Williams. So I just want to put that out there. You're gonna have to get off that train if you were thinking about that one, but otherwise we're good. Yeah.
Don't worry. I'm a big fan of Goodwill Hunting.
Exactly.
I loved Matt
range.
Damon. I loved Robin Williams. Fantastic.
There's definitely some range there. So the Stargate's getting proxied this game, but ShaDoWn did go for an expansion timing that shouldn't really be setting off alarms for HeRoMaRinE. I think if he's paying attention, you're like, okay, was there a pylon missing? And you had that second one up at the front. So I'm not even sure if he realizes what is going down. And it's like almost Heart of the Swarm, right? Proxy Oracle. Wow, that's a throwback. And they only take a whole extra hit in order to kill the workers. So it's a whole lot less popular than it used to be. And well,
Widow Mine.
Look at this dirty, filthy Widow Mine. He pressed E and that mine burrowed. This poor Oracle might not even realize what he's flying into. No, he's going to go straight to the main base. Is there one there too? We can't see it either. Don't worry, guys. We'll find out in a second. No, it's not positioned. So it's actually going to be able to get a couple of SCV pickoffs here and see that it is that 1-1-1 follow-up, which pretty much everybody goes for, but at least he knows, hey, it's in his base. He gets a little more information.
Yeah, it's always good to confirm what you think. You know, there's a lot of value to that. 2 SCVs, not bad. Could have been a lot more. He actually zapped like 3 or 4 of the SCVs initially with that first probe. And I wonder if that was a part of his game plan, was he was intending to make them be 2-shotted by the Oracle. Unfortunately, he didn't target fire them down, so nothing actually really converts from it. But I think that's what his goal was.
Yeah, well, let's see what he gets back done on the other side of the map. HeRoMaRinE gets the mine burrowed. Oracle Revenge in the natural. Dunk 7+. The Adepts were still doing some work with the Oracle, so it's not like ShaDoWn has taken this damage and done nothing back. But the closer that worker count is, I mean, the worse it is for Protoss, right? You don't have mules. You need a probe lead to play a regular straight up macro game against Terrence. So this has still been devastating damage done by HeRoMaRinE. The Marines themselves are still alive. And you know, the worst part about all of this is barring the stalkers coming out of these gateways, which is taking forever. The Oracles, he can actually just pick up and just fly away because they don't kill Aaron. The mine hits the probes again. And yes, again,
God. How did he get the mine out, HeRoMaRinE? I literally wouldn't have even thought to unburrow the mine there, but HeRoMaRinE's like, no, this is fine, yeah. Kills, this is pretty standard in my games. He's like, yeah, I've seen this situation 15 times, just got to unburrow that mine. As I say that, he drops it, and then it dies immediately. I'm 10 steps ahead of
you, and you don't even know what game we're playing.
Oh, man. Man, that was a fantastic drop. HeRoMaRinE is in an amazing position.
Yeah. I feel like this is, especially if there's an even matchup, or if you have a guy like Gabe playing, if the Terran is up 10 workers on the Protoss at 6 minutes, you can, I think that you usually see him just kind of hit the cruise control, you know, get +1, get stim, get a few medevacs, and just go kill the other guy, because they're not going to be able to build enough stuff to deal with you. And the Viking even coming in for that harass. We talk about the mechanical bonus damage they do. They 2-shot probes with no upgrades. So actually not something that he can just say, okay, I'll just tank this or send my probes to fight. The Oracles are going to come over to try and help deal with this. There is a decent amount of stalkers doing some pick up and drop micro with the tanks, though, as the Oracles run out of energy. Medevac can snipe with 1 tank inside. So I think he might end up being able to defend this just barely if he can keep the tank from sieging on him. Or HeRoMaRiNE just going to pull back, doesn't want to overextend and lose everything that he's got out on the map.
Now, you might be saying at home, like, oh man, why did HeRoMaRiNE attack? He just got such a huge eco lead, and he's going for a fast third command center. Well, he knew that ShaDoWn was on 3 Nexi, which means that ShaDoWn can catch up economically. He can just go full chrono boost on probes, ignore building gateway units, and if he does that, he takes a crap ton of damage to this attack. And he was building a lot of probes, but I don't think he put a ton of chrono boost emphasis on it. And he was still building a lot of units, so HeRoMaRinE was looking to potentially punish that. At worst, he trades evenly. At best, he just flat out wins the game. Now, this Oracle is still alive. Ooh, he will kill off 3 SCVs right there. A little bit of a poke in the front. Wow, he finds the tank.
That's a nice
couple
grab.
of nice moves from ShaDoWn, but he still needs a lot more of those to come back.
Yeah. So looking forward then in this game, based on everything that we've seen, I think we can conclusively agree HeRoMaRinE is in a great spot. The worker count is even, and he's got mules. So money-wise, he's more than set. However, if we're trying to, if we're going to do our thing, we try to keep this as interesting as possible until the GG happens. It is a defensive-oriented map. There's not a lot of easy attack avenues on the ground to try and harass. You either go around that long banana hallway on the north side of the map, or you run into the ramp between the natural and the third, and you get, you go through a meat grinder. HeRoMaRinE using the Raven for some harass. I like this, drawing the attention away. The Stalkers and Zealots are repositioning right as his army gets outside that third base again. So it makes it a little bit easier for him to try to bring this attack. And the turrets are actually killing some of the Stalkers, which I mean, auto turrets do a lot of damage. You don't really get to see them against Protoss a tremendous amount like this. And well, that opens the door for the attack on the third. 9 probes dead in the blink of an eye. And there are 2 Widow Mines covering the tank. So it's not even as simple as just trying to dive it. Gets one of the Stalkers with it. Still has another mine in tow. And that shield battery looks great, overcharged. Great funky animation, except it's not on the Nexus, which is the highest priority target. And yeah, he can't defend it. GG gets called. HeRoMaRinE takes the 2-0.